One payment that was done on 4th of January 2022. All others were done in 2023 to 2025, meaning all these pending bills, the 40% of these pending bills have occurred during the current administration of the county government. This is not a small amount. The governor needs to tell us where this 76 million, because if the documents were not available during the time of audit, how could the county government or the county officials construct these documents to come and place before us today and say we have accounted to that 176 million?
Thank you, Senator. Senator Chirarke.
Chair, mine will be three. I want to pick it from where my colleagues left. One, I don't believe, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. The fact that the entity is not aware that under Public Audit Act is an offense for non-provision, then it points to competence and ability of the CCM and the team. So my question would be, would it be, Governor, your people need capacity building? Because I think your CC has served for some time, and this is not the first time that we are doing audit. So you should satisfy this committee that during exit, entry, management, even management letter highlight some of these issues. So I find it strange that your team might not be aware, which I fail to buy, Chair. That will be number one on the issue of entry, exit, and management meeting on the aspect. Number three, I have seen the notes number 32, trade and other payables. Governor, over 94% of pending bills or trade and other payables is under your tenure. It is between 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, which is total of under 1 year. In fact, under 1 year is 321,723,502. Between 1 to 2 years is 63,132,027. And between 2 to 3 years, it's 18,421,047. Of total pending bill in Saburu, 94% was incurred under your tenure. So you should be able to justify us why this huge amount is yet to be settled. And I wish the governor would be noting down so that we don't need to come back. And then over 3 years, you should tell us why you have failed to offset 28,555,160. And I want to believe most of these pending bills are owed to the businessmen and women of Saburu. So therefore, if you don't pay them, it means you are killing their businesses. Of these 431,831,735, that will be my second question. Governor, finally, I have seen in the original certificate of OAG, this issue of statutory deductions is a problem in your county. And when you don't remit these statutory deductions, it is the money that belongs to the workers or to the people or the workers who work within your entity. So why was these statutory deductions not remitted to the SACCOs and other entities for more than 5 years? This is 27,467,566. Because I believe it is not remitted, it is misappropriated because it is something that belongs to the workers' chair. So I would really want to know why the violation of non-payment under the PMF Act of the statutory deductions. Finally, just an observation on 176,378,605. I thought, Governor, issues like contracts are easily available because by the fact that I'm doing a contract for example, in Saburu, that contract should be available. I wish it is something which is direct. Maybe even delivery notes and other aspects like raising of certificates for payment of money. That one you can say maybe the contractor and what and deliver. But on the issue of signed contracts, I want to believe this is a document that is available with the light department. If it is roads, if it is housing, it is something that should be available. So what is the justification of non-provision to justify this 176,378,605? Chair, I yield back. That would be
Thank you. I think you've asked all the questions relating to this matter. Can we get a response from the governor and his team?
Chair, first, I think we need to be clear. we have the vouchers here that account to 176 million. As to why they were not provided to the auditors at the time of the audit, we have the CC here. She has an answer as that they provided those documents. And there is something, a tracker or a schedule that shows that they provided. So let us deal with that. If the documents were provided, and the documents are here now to answer Senator Legwe, I'm told those documents are in those files. You can look at every single voucher to account for the 176 million.
No, I must make it clear, Governor, that we are not doing the audit today. The audit is done by the Auditor General. The Auditor General tells us that they've not had time to even scrutinize this. They provide us with an assurance. If they give us the assurance that what is here supports 176, we will not waste time on it. They have not given us that assurance. So it cannot be a matter that we exit that easily. We have read the law, and the law says any person without justification refuses to provide documents. Is there any justification for non-provision of those documents to the Auditor General? Because this cannot be the time when they're being provided. It's not here. CC?
Chair, we actually provided the documentation and we have a register of all the documentation. If you just allow, we can get you the register signed that they received the documents.
Now,
And the same documents, we had shared around 2 folders showing the vouchers to amounting to that.
Auditor General?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I hereby confirm that on 2nd of June, that is last week, we received the listing and all the individual payment vouchers and supporting documentations.
Was it submitted on 2nd of June or before the audit closure?
We did before, during the audit, and even on the 2nd, we had the documentation.
No, leave alone the 2nd of June. 2nd of June is completely outside the timelines. We are dealing with actions that were expected during the constitutional timelines for audit.
Even before, because we maintain a register when we give documents, they're out and in.
CC, we are soon going to put you under oath.
Okay.
We are soon going to put you under oath. Now, honorable members, this, I think we cannot arrive at a different conclusion that 41% of the debt in Saburu cannot be justified as we speak. And if the auditor, you feel that you need some time to review, it would be quite unprocedural because ideally, by this time, you should have already reviewed it. What assurance are you giving us on this 41%? Is it justified or is it fake bills?
Chairman, before the director comes in, please allow me to say that when we receive this documentation in the office, if you look at Annexure 1, for example, the one totaling to 176 million, as an auditor, I'll ask myself, where is this annexure coming from? Because one, the document one is not certified, because you know the original is not certified. I do not know it comes from Saburu County. I would expect to be able to test this information if I go to the entity and run my tests, even go to the system and run a schedule of payables and see whether I'll be able to come up with such a record. Those are the tests that even Mheshimiwa was talking about.
Now, members, on the issue of, I will not take the submission of the CC that they submitted those documents because this is also a body with some constitutional obligations.
Yes.
And they subscribe to a code of professional conduct. I don't know whether the CEC subscribes to a code of professional conduct. Are you a member of ISPAC?
No, not, Chair.
Yeah, so in these matters, the word of the auditor would be, I think I would take it with greater certainty than your word, because they've got a professional obligation to say the truth and to provide an assurance. So let's not spend too much time on this back and forth of I gave or I didn't give. Let's come to the substantive things, because if people are owed money, they should be known. We might spend so much time on this and forget that there is something to do with SACCOs and statutory contributions that are in this query that affect staff. You know, those ones cannot be fake. Statutory remittances cannot be fake. But these other trade payables can be fake if there are no invoices. And indeed, Governor, this week, was it this week or last week, someone went to court and took the National Youth Service to court for non-payment of for services rendered. They argued that they had supplied metallic pipes for construction of beds at the NYS. That person lost the case. Why? Because the court challenged them to provide the original tender, the contract, the LSO. They went to court only with a delivery note and an invoice and a payment voucher. The Auditor General cannot certify these 176 in the absence of that entire chain of documentation. I believe we are communicating. That if you give us files here, for example, I've seen the first person. The first person, you have a payment voucher. Members, I hope you've seen that. Being payment for construction of 30 ECD kitchens in Saburu County. In favor, you have a payment voucher in favor of Ndoto Star contractors. Then the next thing from Ndoto Star contractors is an invoice. Then that's the end. How can that be a legitimate bill? That matter was settled in the court just this week or last week. That it cannot be a legitimate bill when you only have a payment voucher and an invoice. You must have the entire chain from tender all the way. So this, prima facie, does not address the concerns of the Auditor General. And my concern, Governor, is that you are treating your staff as sacred cows. They should have provided that information. You are not demanding it of them. You are giving them an opportunity to give excuses. They will sabotage you. At the end of the day, you are the one the police goes for, not your staff. So be firm. Do not have sacred cows. Ask these questions. We are asking these questions for your good as a governor of Saburu. But if you feel that they are wrong questions, then we shall leave you on your own and get sabotaged by your staff.
Chair.
Okay, proceed.
Chair, in support of what you're saying exactly, which I support 100%, when we come to this committee, when you are during the auditing season or sessions, we do something different because we go through these things. What documents were not provided at the time, we try to look at that they are provided now. But from our earlier conversation, this meeting is different. We are doing post-audit on implementation. And I think it helps a lot in support of what you said if we agree with these auditors. And I want to agree with these auditors. If, for example, at the time of the audit, these documents were not provided, the executive is saying they provided, and the auditors said they didn't get it, they didn't receive. Wouldn't it help this meeting, because it's a meeting for implementation, if we allow the auditors to look at the vouchers provided now, and even go back to Saburu, for example, and look at the work done by Ndoto Stars, for example, and confirm that Ndoto Stars, among the bills of 176 million, was actually paid as reported by the vouchers. So I want to support your idea 100%, but this is the only way we could do this, so that we can be better next time. That we allow the auditors, I know it is post-audit, to come and confirm these things, confirm the vouchers, confirm the companies, confirm the physical, so that the vouchers we hold now that were not provided at the time, we can now see to them as evidence that Saburu County did these works through these companies.
Audit must have closure. It cannot be on forever. Senator Ombua.
Chair, I will only say two things. Governor, you know, I am still struggling with this Annex 1A. It's a loose leaf. So if it fell off the folder and somebody collected it out there, it could be anything. There's no ownership of it. There's nothing that shows it's a document from the county government of Saburu. It's just a piece of paper with some write-up. And the person who should be very annoyed with that, Governor, is not even us. It is you. No, I will tell you what you can do. I will tell you what you can do.
There is something called administrative action.
Exactly. You know, Governor, Administrative action, Chair, allow me to teach today just for 2 minutes. Administrative action is not necessarily firing people. It's also, as governor, appreciating that maybe the capacity in your county is wanting and taking responsible officers through some training. That's administrative action. But to say that there is nothing you can do and now, you know, as a leader in the house myself, when the basic intelligence of members is put to test, I feel bad and I must raise a finger and say, no, you cannot give this kind of document to us. So somebody, and you see at the end of the day what the chair is telling you, Governor. When the IG is sent to go and look for you, it is you they look for. They don't even know who the CEC finance is or who the county secretary is. It is you. And when there is an allegation of misappropriation of funds in the county government of Saburu, it is you. It is your name, your face on record. Lastly, Chair, you know, Governor, you have said we can allow these people, we can allow the auditor to go back and do what they, you know, at the end of the day, what will happen is this. I don't think we envisage a situation where whatever documentation you provide at whatever time is useless. At the end of the day, the auditors will do things called, you know, prior year issues. You know, that will come there as a prior year issue. But this thing has been closed, Governor. And I believe that there was an exit meeting after the audit, which you must have sat in and realized that there were documents that were missing. And there was a time period within which you would have provided those documents. And I don't expect myself, Governor, that it is you who will go and pick vouchers and, you know, supporting documents and take to the OAG. No, I expect that there's somebody who is supposed to do that job. And that's the person that Chair is saying, let us find out who this person is, so that consequences then ensue. I thank you, Chair.
So maybe to allow us to make progress, Senator Charaga, you had asked the 4 questions.
Yes,
Let's go through those 4 questions. So as to the 176, it is clear that even a cursory glance at the records before us is not satisfactory, just looking at Ndoto alone. We probably, as we make our recommendations, because we'll be doing very detailed recommendations, at that point, Auditor General, you'll advise us if whatever was tendered justified the 176. Then there was a question of the long outstanding debt of 28 million, which you submit, Governor, that so far you have paid, is it 30% of it? 35%. 35% of it, and you have provided Annexure 1B. Auditor General, have you looked at Annexure 1B, and are you able to give us an assurance?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We've gone through Annexure 1B, and we confirm that indeed the management has paid the 10.5 million.
So that leaves about some 65% of that very old debt.
Yes, Chair.
Which they are also saying that there's a... So have you also looked at the requisition schedule to confirm what the governor is saying?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. For the requisition, yes, we've seen the requisition, but we
okay.
The submission was that they are waiting for
your query was why it had been long-standing, isn't it?
Yes, that is our question, Chair.
So what they are responding is that they at least paid 35% of it. Now let's go to the third bit, which is on statutory deductions. 27 million. The governor is saying that 10 million has since been settled, which is 30%. Why would statutory deductions remain unremitted? I want to understand why that is the case in Saburu. Because statutory deductions is SACCO, pension, loans, professional contributions, insurance, premiums from staff. If you pay staff their salaries on time, the statutory deductions from staff should also be remitted on time. Governor, why do we have a problem in Saburu?
It's a bit technical, so I will ask the CC, because they are on the payroll people, to respond for me.
Chair, on the issue of the statutory deduction, when we came in 2022, there was some outstanding pension not paid. So we did a bit of reconciliation of that amount, and that's why you're seeing that we are now paying, we are now reducing the amount after we did reconciliation with the bodies. On the issue of
Now, you are mixing things up. We are dealt with 10.5 million
okay.
as settlement of the 28 million. Then the auditors brought in another figure of 27 million as salary arrears. So which is which? What are you explaining?
The 27 is still under the 28. It's still amount outstanding. The 28 is the total.
But if you wanted us to have that clarity,
Yes.
in note 32, you would have disclosed them under employee payables.
Yes.
Isn't that where they're supposed to be?
Yes, it is.
And here employee payables is 0.
Okay. Maybe I can ask my CFO to answer that.
Chair, maybe I don't have that information that you have.
Are you the one who prepared the financial statements?
Is the director accounting?
Is he present?
Yes, he's present.
Yeah, tell us, because now it's emerging that there are employee payables of 27.4 million, but in your financial statements, not 32, employee payables is 0.
Chair, I'm not privy to that information at the moment.
What's your name, Mr.?
Joseph Lekalkuli.
Sorry?
Joseph.
Joseph who?
6711.
Just give us your full name and what you do in the county.
My name is Joseph Lekalkuli. I'm Director of Finance.
Are you the preparer of the financial statements?
Yes, we do it as a team.
But your signature and your ISPAC number is on the financial statement?
Yes, as the head
So
of...
you are therefore familiar with all the disclosures, including the notes supporting the financial statements?
Should be.
Yes. So you reported that you had 0 in terms of employee payables. In this report and in your response, you are indicating that you had 27 million as employee payables. What should we take? Your financial statements prepared by a finance expert, or a response prepared by the governor, who perhaps is not a finance expert?
I guess we should go with the financial statements.
Therefore, there was nothing due to employees. Why are we being told about 27 million here?
I need to revisit that.
Do you have the financial statements?
I do not have it here.
How do you go into a boxing ring without your gloves? Surely. What did you come for?
Chair, can you see the director's body language? He's smiling at you and we are discussing serious issues. I don't think this guy is serious. He better go under oath because he's answering and he knows, Governor, you know, if we want to know the heart and functionality of an entity is through financial statements. Your CCM will tell you that. But you can see your gentleman who should be doing this job is taking it casual. Or is in office on other considerations.
We must debunk this myth that they'll hang the governor and that's the end of it.
Correct.
Yes, we'll hang the governor, but just like Jesus Christ also had one thug on the left and another thug on the right,
yes,
we shall also find thugs to hang alongside the governor. Correct. Now, this is extremely important, Governor, because we are going to refer to this note 32. That disclosure has not been made. You are telling us there's 27 million for staff. An auditor, you probably should have queried, because also for us to understand the opening balances. I'm familiar with this note having opening balances. Was there a requirement for opening balances to be disclosed? Note 32?
Yes, Chairman.
They ought to have disclosed.
By Treasury that all entities must prepare opening financial statements to be able now to arrive at opening balances.
So how do we trust, Governor, or how do you trust that you owe 431 million? How do you, as CEO, get comfortable when your officers are not comfortable?
Chair, before I answer that, I think this is the first time we've had this kind of meeting after the audit. And I find this meeting very productive, even more than the audit itself when we are doing the audit today. So maybe you could, just on the side, you would think of having, apart from the audit meetings we come, we should also have this kind of meeting. Because, Chair, as you said, I'm not an accountant, but it's very hard for me to believe that when we pay our staff, that someone is not remitting the statutory deduction. But now it's coming out that we are not sure, because the accountants we have here are revealing to us that we paid, it's zero, while we have the auditor report revealing that the 27 million was not paid. I would ask kindly, Chair, that you allow us, because this is very important for me, very important, that you allow us to go and have this accountant and the auditors reconcile this issue. Do we have zero balance in terms of remittances, statutory deductions, or do we have 27? But I just want to...
I think refrain from giving directions. It's the chair will give directions. You can just make suggestions.
Chair.
Senator Lelit, Senator Wambua.
Chair, I think we need to be clear here, the auditors and the governor. These deductions were done at the point of salary payment for each employee. These deductions were made. When you see your response, you're saying that at the time of the next supplementary budget. My question is, where did this deduction, the single unit deduction you took from a staff, where did you store that, or where do you account, or where did you deposit that deduction, specific deduction? Because you are referring again to the supplementary budget. We're asking, where is this money that you've deducted from employee amounting to 27 million?
I hope the officer has now found his financial statements, because we will be writing to ISPAC that you are not fit to be in that position. Senator Wambua.
Chair, I'm actually increasingly doubting whether really a real audit took place in Saburu, or people just sat down and did whatever it is that they did. That gentleman, the director of Director of Finance, I take great exception through your governor that you would even try to attempt to respond to questions of Ed. I have actually seen, Chair, it is our staff that have given him a document that he should refer to.
The danger with that is one time that happened in Kiambu.
Yes.
And then the governor of Kiambu claimed those were our records and disowned us. So you need to be very careful, our clerks.
Yes. Yeah. So Governor, I honestly feel you. I don't know myself what I would do in a situation where then I have this level of casualness in handling such sensitive issues. These, for heaven's sake, and for crying out loud, these are deductions from people.
Including him.
Including yourself.
Yes.
This is money that, should form the basis of a lot of things for staff. At the end of the day, there are pensions, there are questions of pensions, there are questions of, retirement benefits. There are circle issues here. It's a very serious issue. It's not an issue that you just wake up and try to recollect. I'm not very sure about that. Chair, and I can't guide you, but I request that you guide this committee to arrive at a situation that this level of casual way of doing things in the county government of Samburu must be brought to an end. And I like what the governor is saying. You know, perhaps this is the first time that we're having a constructive engagement with the county government of Samburu. It is late, but at least we can arrest something, if not someone.
Yeah. Let's listen to the officer. What did you want to say?
Okay, Chair, thank you. First of all, if you look at trade payables, we have two.
First, the document that you're looking at.
We are looking at the financial reports for FY 24-25 as of June 2025.
Page?
Page 39.
The original certificate.
Yeah. I just want to confirm that the total pending bills was 431, as indicated there, broken down into two: trade payables and third-party payments. And if you look at the aging analysis down there, the 28 million, which is above 3 years and above, old and above, that is where the question falls now. The pending bills related to third-party payments, like SACCOs, KRA, and those payroll issues. So
what are you saying,
I'm just saying
that is different from what is before us? Because what is before us, employee payables is zero. And you have just said that you've had 27 million on matters to do with employees. And having looked at this, those should be categorized as employee payables. Because if you talk of third-party payments, you can't put employee payables in the third-party payments.
Okay, according to me, employee payables relate to.
Do you have a standard separate from the one issued by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board? Because
we use the same.
You are the 47th county we are dealing with, so we are not new. We are not strangers in Jerusalem. Number two, opening balances. Could you show us where they are?
Opening balances for the year is an additional
No, where are they? Where are the opening balances?
I did not indicate it here.
Were they supposed to have been indicated?
Yes.
So is your note 32 a fair, accurate picture of the state of trade payables in Samburu County?
In terms of the summation of pending bills, it's accurate.
No. In terms of what you're required professionally to disclose.
Okay. Opening balances was omitted.
Is it material?
Opening balances, I would say the totals.
No, is it material, yes or no?
Yes.
So that's material non-disclosure. And you must take responsibility as a professional. And Governor, I don't think that in case of Samburu, we could be talking of lack of capacity in the general populace of Samburu. I mean, when I go to Kisumu, the manager of the central bank in Kisumu is a friend of mine from Samburu. My county commissioner in Samburu, in Kisumu, is a gentleman from Samburu. So we can't say that that is the sharpest tool you have. So I think let's take note of the serious professional negligence that we have observed here, the lack of disclosure, lack of supporting documentation, and therefore, I think on this matter, we cannot come to a conclusion that this is the true state of pending bills in Samburu, and we can make appropriate recommendations.
Yeah, so Chair, you need to guide, because he has gone on record to say that he admits that there is material non-disclosure on note 32. I think just on that score alone, Chair, I believe that there are pronouncements this committee should be able to make. I mean, there's an admission on record.
Senator,
and also, Chair, because then the auditors would look at the veracity of these documents, what would still be outstanding is the requirement to justify why the documents are not given in good time, so that because we don't have prosecutorial powers, would have to give the files to ESC to do investigation. Why can't we give opportunity to the officers to really give justification why those documents are not there? Is it somebody was not there in the county? Maybe they were fired, and you brought in somebody new. Somebody was sick. The documents were carried away by water, and they had to reconstruct them, so that we just get that narration for the sake of the answer.
Chair, I think maybe since there is admission of liability, we should since there is admission of liability by director of accounting or finance, and he is a member of profession like some of us are, then the consequences must follow. And maybe, Governor, maybe just a basic question, because I've seen how your team answers questions. Maybe can I ask you a basic question, Governor, because it looks like everybody is casual among your staff. Answer it or you don't answer, you saw director, the CCM taking back and forth. Workers and staff intimidating you, Governor? Or they don't respect you? Or they don't follow your orders? Is there disrespect? Because when a staff which you have entrusted with responsibility don't take the work seriously when they are before Parliament, maybe they disrespect you and you don't know it, because if they don't feel an obligation. This should be a very serious matter that even in Japan, when you are speaking before your boss and you fail, you start crying.
In Japan, they commit suicide. But honorable members, let's get back to this so that we can make some progress.
Because we cannot make progress when you have members of staff who are answering questions casually. So my concern, Governor, do they disrespect you? They don't follow your orders, because it looks like you are the victim of poor performance of your staff. Because from the question one, Chair, to now, we have been struggling to get headway, especially from the members of staff that is working with the government. But at face value, Governor, you look like a lion. So is there something?
Now, members, let's come back to the numbers, because we have demonstrated that there is a problem. And the governor has also owned up that this session helps him to see things the way they are. But the point we cannot run away from, and members allow me, let's just prosecute this. The point we cannot run away from is that the Auditor General says that for 5 years, you have collected SACCO contributions of 27 million from your staff, which has not been settled. And today, you have come and told us that out of the 27 million, you have paid 10 million. Now, SACCO contributions are very personal, very painful. It could be contributions to share capital, it could be repayment of loans. Even if, Governor, you came and found this as a problem in Saburu, I think from a humane perspective, this is one thing that you must be resolved with immediate effect. You would rather pend the payment of someone who's built a road, but not the contribution of an employee, a contribution that has already been deducted. The control of budget has already approved that contribution. I think this we cannot run away from, Governor, because this is about being humane and being responsive to your staff. I would want to hear your views on that, or the action you are taking. You owe them 27 million, only 10 million has been remitted, leaving a balance of 17 million.
Sure, thank you so much. Just allow me to say something little on what Senator Cheregei raised here. One thing that is very clear about my staff is that they are highly educated. They are no different from any staff in this country. These people sitting here, they were recruited by the public service of Saburu, and they have degrees from universities of Nairobi, universities of everywhere that are in Kenya. They also have that CPAC thing that I have never attempted. So they are, as far as I know, that is the best of accountants you can get. And I remember one time in KICC, you raised an issue that you'll forward their CPAC numbers to the bodies so they can be, so they can be vanished. I don't know how those bodies work. And you actually mentioned their names, and they are sitting here. the same people that you forwarded in KICC, they were not punished. I actually asked one yesterday, not the other day. I asked one of them here, I don't mention. I thought Senator Kajwang, in my first year as a governor, forwarded your name to Sifuna.
I think, Governor, for guidance, Senator Kajwang is not the governor of Saburu. You are the CEO of Saburu. We can only make recommendations. It is for you to take administrative action on your staff. In fact, even ISPAC cannot sack your staff. No other body can. It's your county public service board.
Not the sacking, Senator.
And you as a governor.
I thought when you forwarded, because you're the one who pronounced that you are forwarding this person and this person, I thought there will not be
It
accountants.
does not take away your responsibility
No, it doesn't.
as chief
I'm not saying
executive
that, but I
officer.
think they should not have been accountants anymore. The point I'm trying to make is that we have highly qualified staff. There is no question about that. They have everything accounting.
I think let's leave it at that. Could you, Governor, just to guide you to come to the circle?
To the numbers.
Come to the circle. Yeah.
The reason why I was asking that we go back, I said on record, I find this meeting more productive than what I thought, because we are looking at things post-audit and how to correct them. And I think that's what we all want for our people. So, sitting here, and I said I'm not an accountant, one record is saying that we have 0 deductions, if I understood very well. We have 0 balances. There's another conflicting that is saying we have about 16 because 10 is paid. But it is also in the record that 5 million is currently sitting at the control budget to pay the remaining 16 million. So that will leave us with about 11. Senator, in all honesty, in my opinion, I want to agree with you 100%. This is not something that should be staying in our books. If it is true that we have 0 balance, then I'm happy, as recorded in the other document. If we still have a pending 11 million, I want to give you the assurance that that's one thing that I will not want to see again. As you said, we'll go back and pay that money. As to why it has remained unpaid, if it is true, because now I have conflicting records. One is saying we have 0. The other one is saying we have 11. If you take away the 5 million, then we'll pay. Senator, take that assurance from me.
Now, we will make appropriate recommendations, but I must express the concern of this committee around your bookkeeping practices, the accuracy of your records, your non-cooperation with the Office of the Auditor General, and therefore, on the face of it, it is our view that this amount of money listed as trade payables is not justifiable because the Auditor General has not given us that assurance, but we shall go to the law and propose appropriate consequences. Senator Sifuna, you could go on record.
Thank you, Chair, Governor, and the team from Saburu. My name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi. I'm a member of this committee. Chair, apologies that I came late, but it's good to see my friend, Governor of Saburu in Nairobi. Karibu Nairobi.
But, Chair.
Why do you have to respond to a welcome?
No, I want also to welcome him because, Chair, apart from being a governor, and apart from Senator Sifuna being a senator, and apart from my good friend being a senator, we are human beings. We are Kenyans. We will be in this country for the rest of our lives.
I don't know where you're heading to, but I said at the beginning of this meeting, I made it clear that we are not going to introduce extraneous issues.
I have done some mistakes, and I'm remorseful of the mistakes that I've done. But I think Sifuna and my good friend Senator also did some mistakes. And so that we can always be friends here in this committee and continue, I want to tell you my story on that material date. Without, just so that we can remain friends.
Governor,
please allow me.
Order.
Say, let us reconfine.
Order, Senator Jaragay, order, Governor. Governor,
out of what I'm saying, you said we confine our matters.
We have had many steps of discussions and conversations, including conversations between the Council of Governors and the leadership of the Senate, where the 2 members sit is the Deputy Whip of Minority, is a Deputy Leader of Minority. I don't want us in this public space to start narrating all the events that have happened, because it's going to invite questions, interjections, and we might be derailed. And that's why I said at the beginning, let's stick to the numbers. I said at the beginning, when we gave orders to the Inspector General of Police, we wanted you to either come or be produced to do what we are doing. So let's do what we are doing. And finally, we are all leaders in this country, and it would be best if we were friends, but we don't have to be friends. We just need to love the people that we serve. So, Governor, let's go back to the numbers. Let's go back to the numbers. Let's go to deposits and
Chair, as we
retentions.
go back to those numbers, and really we should just go back to those numbers. Governor, we are very focused people on the things that we do. Nothing personal, absolutely nothing personal. And because we agreed from the beginning that we will not bring those issues here, let me pray that we don't. If there is need for yourself, the governor of Nairobi, who has graciously welcomed you to the city, and myself, to have a conversation around those issues that you think we should have, I have no problem with that. I can actually even buy a cup of tea as we talk about whatever it is that needs to be done. But for now, let's stick to the numbers.
I find it better if you do it in, this thing happened in the full view
But we say we stick
of
to
the
them.
Kenyan people and all cameras. I have nothing wrong. I have
Okay.
nothing against you. I am not
Okay.
bitter. But I want to tell a story of that day so we can all feel who was wrong.
There are always different sides to a story, your side, my side, and the truth. So,
If the governor will tell us a story about that day, he should tell us why he organized demonstrations against the Senate in Samburu.
order, Senator.
So if you want to reopen,
order.
allow us to
Those are
reopen.
those are the extraneous issues that I don't want.
Then let us
Because you
retain
see,
ourselves to the
we
matters
wouldn't
that
have found out the fraud in pending bills
Yes.
if we started with extraneous
Let
issues.
us confine ourselves to the matters.
Chair,
Yes.
just 1 minute.
Senator
I
Sifuna,
wanted to make a suggestion. Governor, you and I are national leaders. If your fear is that our tea will not receive national coverage, I can assure you, we can invite the media and they will come there. But what we want to focus on here now, or you can come with me to Thika on Sunday, the whole media will be there. But the point that I was making is, I agree with the chair, let's focus on those issues that the people of Samburu want. Senator Enoch Wambua happens to be a bishop. You can trust him. He can convene us for tea. The media are our friends. They will all come there. Then we tell the story of that day, because I also have things to say. But not here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're here purges the contempt. Let's go on and look at deposits and retentions. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. The question is on refundable deposits and prepayments.
Please read your finding.
Okay. The statement of financial position and note 33 of the financial statements reflect refundable deposits and prepayments balance of Kenya shillings 94,726,058 relating to the Samburu County deposit account. However, review of the bank reconciliation statements revealed that receipts in the cash book amounting to Kenya shillings 82,190,366 dated between June 2024 and May 2017 had not been deposited to the deposits accounts as they did not reflect in the bank statement. Further, the county executive had borrowed deposit and retentions funds totaling Kenya shillings 75,310,761 over the years, which had not been refunded or deposited to the deposits and retentions account. The borrowings were not supported by evidence of approval by the county assembly, utilization details, and the specific budget lines funded, or reasons for the continued non-refund of the monies. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the refundable deposits and prepayments balance of 94,726,058 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may respond.
To my CC respond on my behalf on that.
Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the amount in question relates to a total Kenya shillings of 94,726,058 directly borrowed from the deposit account. The withdrawal had been made to cater for provisions of essential public goods and services at such times when the county faced cash flow challenges. The county government commits to make the refund in the next financial year. Attached is Annexure 2 is a schedule of the current status of the amount receivable.
Auditor General.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The issue as is still outstanding because the refunds have not been done for the monies that have been borrowed.
Governor, if you were to go with your response, what is the legal basis for borrowing 94 million from the deposit account and not refunding it? What's the legal? What does the law require you, Governor? What does the law require of you? Because deposits and retentions are monies owed to suppliers for work done pending the lapse of the defect liability. Is that the right interpretation for the accountants? These are money retained from contractors. So when you retain it and then you borrow it, you are stealing from contractors. And in any case, if there is a borrowing from that account, this is like the situation we found in Vihiga, where they took money from the deposits account, gave it to the county assembly for a housewarming, but there was some correspondence. There was some letters justifying that decision. So that's why I'm asking, on what basis was 94 million due to contractors diverted for other purposes? Let's start from there. Is there any justification in our records before we call it theft of 94 million?
I think it's borrowing, Chair.
Well, it's a diversion. So there's a procedure in law to justify that. Any evidence that that procedure was adhered to?
I want to make it clear, Senator, that we are allowed to borrow from accounts.
Yes, there is a procedure.
So that is within the law.
And that procedure is documented.
That is recorded.
Yes. Is there a record of compliance with that procedure?
I want to allow me to ask my accountant to respond to this. Because one thing that I know...
He does not need to explain to us the procedure. He just needs to give us evidence of compliance.
I also want to say that part of this 94 was way before I became the governor. Part of it is when I'm the governor. So
you have continued the bad habit of the past.
Borrowing is allowed. It's not a bad habit.
There is a procedure. There is a procedure. So can you give us evidence of compliance with that procedure?
As the officer prepares to respond, we just want him to be straight to the point, because the queries from the Auditor General want you to show evidence of approval by the County Assembly. Whether it is there or not, we just move very quickly. And then your response, Governor, you are just saying it was meant to cater for provision of essential public goods and services. And you will see the auditor is saying that there was no evidence of the specific budget lines funded or the reasons of the continued non-refund of the money. So those three things, just tell us, is there evidence of approval of the County Assembly, the specific budget lines that were funded, and then lastly, why that money has not been refunded years down the line.
Yeah, you have the floor. Please be precise.
Thanks, Chair. First of all, the 94 million is a total of the retention funds that have been borrowed by the executive over time, over a period of since 2017 to date. We keep the records. Number two, there have been no approval. We know that we're supposed to go through the assembly for approval of such borrowings, but we have never done that.
Okay, so guilty as charged. Out of the 94 million, how much has been borrowed in the last 1 or 2 years? Because it's easy to say it was done in the past, but maybe the past it was 1 million and your time it was 93 million.
Okay, as per my financials, that is on page 39, and 1 year is 50 million. 204, 811,000.
So you borrowed Just in that financial year, 50 million from deposit account.
Yes.
Without following the procedure prescribed in law.
Don't know.
No, I mean, there's no one else who assist you. You just said it earlier, that there's no evidence of approvals. You never did that.
It is true that we don't have evidence in approval from County Assembly.
Then that is theft.
What happens when the defect liability period ends and the contractors are supposed to be paid? What happens?
Luckily for the deposit account, it is always liquid. There's always, because we are in operations, we pay new suppliers who are deducted new.
No, that's a Juakali way of doing things. National Treasury.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, the situation that is being painted here is, a very serious situation that demonstrates financial indiscipline, whereby money belonging to third parties are being utilized to finance the services of the government of Saburu. And this one now is eroding the public trust because they were supposed to have that money. They owned it so that when the owner of the money comes for the money, that it should not be given any excuses. As the Honorable Senator has asked, when the defect liability period is over, and that contractor or the owner will come asking for the money. And you have actually put before this committee that even some are for as long as 2017, the defect liability most likely has already elapsed and you have not paid that money. It shows a serious lack of financial discipline in that county. And you may finally not be able to pay that money when the rightful owners will come for that money. Thank you.
Governor, if there is a procedure defined in law, and that procedure gives responsibility to certain people within your organization, why would you come here and listen to the excuses that we are being given? Because initially, the auditor queried 75 million. In your response, you have clarified that it is not even 75, it is 94 million borrowed over the years. Over the years, only 2.8 million was borrowed before your time. Only 3%. The remaining 97% has been raiding the deposits account during your tenure as governor. The financial statements, there cannot be a different account. I'm looking at note 33, which the officer has referred to, and conjoining it with your response. In your response, you have said, Chair, the amount in question relates to a total of 94.7 million directly borrowed from the deposit account. And a breakdown of that 94 million indicates that only 2.8 million was borrowed 3 years ago. The remaining 92 million was borrowed during your tenure. So this is not a matter where we start passing the buck. Governor, 92 million has been raided from the retention account during your tenure as governor without following the provisions of the law.
Sure, I give you the information that I'm given by the officers in the finance department. According to them, how much was borrowed this time, 50, or the other one, 44. That's what they're telling me.
The information is here. Fortunately, we don't have to fish for it. It's here. And it's been aged very nicely.
I'll let them clarify that.
Yeah, so perhaps
this is
so
what
that,
I want to say.
So perhaps so that we follow what you want to say, let them refer us to a document because the chairman is referring to the financial statements of Saburu County for the year 2024-2025. That's where the page we are at, Governor. So if there's a different document to aid the conversation, let them also point it to us.
I will let them look for that document. But this is what I want to say, and they must look for that document. Share, if the law and I'm not a lawyer also. I said I was not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer also. If the law prescribes that borrowing is allowed, number one, so there's nothing illegal about that. If the law also prescribes that borrowing has to go through the county assembly, and it didn't went through the county assembly, somebody is culpable. And that one does not require me as a governor. We have everybody sitting here, including ACC. If something was done wrong in that direction, I think I can do administrative action, but something else can also be done. On the borrowing issue, I want to make it clear